Howdy, 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 my name's Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. I decided to switch up my format a little bit, and instead of going back and forth between entries and the Resurrection A9, I'll just do a bunch of entries and then once a week do Resurrection A9, because then it will move a little bit faster in both areas. So, in the last episode we stopped at the Cancer Plague, and I did have someone explain to me what a Humboldt squid is, but also that it would make more sense if I read the crossed out things. So, SCP-252 is to be contained within a 150 cubed meter aquarium, reinforced with high tensile steel plating. Guards are to be specially trained in waterborne combat techniques and armed with model B-74H harpoon rifles with high capacity electrical discharge shafts. The tank is fitted with 15 remotely activated depth charges, which are to be detonated simultaneously if a containment breach is imminent. Okay. Due to their destructive capabilities, capture is deemed a high priority. Given the difficulties inherent in the size of specimens, termination is authorized if a breach of secrecy is imminent. And then this one. When threatened by a predator or otherwise agitated, 252 rapidly metamorphs into an unidentified aquatic life form of extreme size with an indeterminate physiology and extremely destructive demeanor. Physical attributes in this state are in a constant state of change. Size fluctuates between 50 and 75 meters in length with no fewer than 50. I feel like it might. The reason that it's crossing this out is because of down here where it says the metamorphosis is actually a hallucination. And then out here it says, he secured a specimen at greater than usual personal danger, accommodation for performance above and beyond the call of duty is recommended. Which they crossed out and said that he allowed himself to be exposed to its effects upon first contact, and he was disciplined for it instead. Okay. And it looks like the reason that this is crossed out now is because now instead of all of this stuff happening, they just keep a breeding pair of them under the direction of marine biologist Dr. Somebody. Okay. So we're going to start this episode with Employee of the Month, which is safe. Okay, let's find out what it is. SCP-254 is to be kept in a standard storage locker when not in use. When in storage, it must be placed face down on the floor of the locker and secured with straps to prevent accidental activation. Okay. Use of 254 may be requested by any department head and must be approved by at least 2 Level 3 personnel. 254 may not be used in a capacity that will result in 254-1's contact with SCPs posing a mimetic contagion hazard. Under no circumstances is 254 to be active in a single department or area for longer than 26 days. Reuse is permitted only if the area in question has undergone a complete personnel rotation, i.e., no employees remain who have had previous contact with 254. Okay then. SCP-254 is a rectangular wooden plaque measuring 22 by 30 centimeters and weighing approximately 1.5 kilograms. On the front of the plaque is an empty brass picture holder, as well as a printed metal plate with a black background and gold-colored letters reading Employee of the Month. Affixed to the back of the plaque is a standard hanging device. 254 was discovered in the rubble of a Texaco gas station in Blank, Kansas on blanket in blank 1950-something. A Foundation agent secured it after discovering that it had sustained no damage in the explosion that had leveled the gas station and resulted in the deaths of blank employees and blank civilians. When 254 is hung on the wall in a work area of 4 or more people, 254-1 will appear soon afterwards. 1 will arrive either at the end of the next designated break period or at the beginning of the following work shift. 1 is an incorporeal human of variable gender, ace, range, name, and appearance, and able to manipulate objects in a manner similar to that of a normal human in average strength or coordination. 1 will adopt the appearance and persona of a model employee based on an area's mimetic consensus. Once 1's appearance has been established, an image of 1 that appears to be an 8 by 10 glossy photograph fills the empty picture holder, and it will not change until 254 is moved to a new location. Across the bottom of the photograph in print is the newly assumed name of 1. The photograph cannot be removed from the picture holder by any known means, but it can be torn or ripped. Excuse me. Doing so in an aggressive or purposeful manner results in a violent reaction from 254-1. See attached recording 254-A dated expunged the blank 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 incident. I feel like that recording's not actually going to be here. No, wait, never mind, there it is. Maybe. Okay. Regardless of appearance, 1 maintains a cheerful demeanor at all times. 1 is able to carry on conversations about the weather, traffic, the previous night's TV show, sports, and other such topics, although 1 will never discuss topics of which present individuals have no knowledge. Personnel assigned to work in an area where 254 is in use do not appear alarmed by 254-1's incorporeal nature or sudden appearance, stating that one works here. Due to the local personnel's reluctance to remove the plaque or inability to remember to remove the plaque, removal is to be scheduled and performed by off-site personnel. One is capable of performing menial tasks quickly and efficiently. When given tasks that require specialized training, although one does not possess the required expertise, she or he will attempt them with usual good attitude, but will perform as well as an average person could be expected to perform. One will continue to perform as exemplary as an employee as possible for a length of time between 28 to 46 work days, usually ending at the conclusion of a calendar month. If 254 is placed in a workplace several days into a calendar month, one will act as an effective employee until the end of the following month, although due to the dangers posed by shifting mimetic consensus, no use of 254 for longer than 26 days is permitted. After the month has passed, if 254 is not removed, one will begin to degrade in performance, beginning with an unhelpful attitude and forgetfulness. If 254 is not removed, one will become a worse and worse employee until fired. Firing can be represented by removing 254 from the wall or by informing one of its termination. If one is fired within approximately 20 days from the start of its decline in performance, one simply leaves the area and disappears. Following cessation of employment after this point, one will actively sabotage the work area in the most destructive manner possible, posing severe hazard to any nearby personnel. And the world, people! We work with SCPs here, and if proper removal arrangements are not made with off-site security and documented with on-site security, the offending employee will find themselves jobless or worse. Addendum. Following Incident 254-0210-G, all tests on employing one beyond 26 days must be conducted at a separate site containing no other SCPs. No exceptions. And here's an audio log. Dr. Blank. This is Dr. Redacted. This is experiment number 13 on SCP-254. I'm using a standard Phillips head screwdriver to attempt to remove the brass fitting from 254. There are 15 seconds of tool working sounds. It appears that the screws are affixed by means beyond the normal, perhaps glue or something else. 254-1 going by Gus this iteration. Would you like me to get you some solvent, sir? No thanks, Gus, no need. Would you hand me that box cutter? I'll try cutting the picture out. Really? Why would you want to do that? I think that plaque looks Jim Dandy right where it is. Now, this isn't an insult to you, Gus. You're a great employee. This is an experiment. Okay, Doc, I trust you. There's a slight paper ripping noise. What you doing, Doc? Would you please not do that? Just a little bit for... The audio of the two cuts out and there are 5 hard banging sounds, presumably 154 slamming Dr. Blank's head against the table. Then there is a wet sound as the box cutter is data expunged. End of tape. Okay. Experiment log B. Testing on extended employment of one as a janitor, sector blank. Day 26. End of standard employment period reached. Performance continues to meet high standards. Day 32. First sign of performance degradation noted. Leaves a dirty rag on research assistant blank's desk, apologetic when rag is noticed and returned. Day 34. Mopping the floor in sector blank when a hurrying technician trips over the bucket of cleaning solution. They are recorded cursing at the technician. Day 35. At the end of the calendar month, one described as sullen by a late working researcher. Break room kitchen at sector blank left uncleaned, coffee spilled around Dr. Blank's garbage can. Day 36. One is reprimanded by supervisor for apparent drunkenness. Note, very odd, one has never been seen to drink or eat. Day 39. Fails to return cleaning solutions to the janitorial closet. Near disaster when mentally disturbed test subject, see experiment log redacted, finds a bottle of ammonia-based cleaner in a bathroom. One reprimanded for carelessness. Fellow janitor blank blank observed in a verbal altercation with one. Both parties are somewhat vague on the cause of the quarrel. Day 43. One again observed to be apparently drunk on duty. Cleaning is becoming noticeably more erratic. Day 48. Fire alarm goes off in sector blank. False alarm. Ink markers failed to pinpoint a culprit, but one was observed near the tripped alarm a few minutes prior to the incident. Security footage unavailable due to an unidentifiable object blocking the camera's view of the hallway. Day 56. Dr. Blank upgrades one for removing perishable items from the lab refrigerator and shredding irreplaceable experiment logs. One calls Dr. A redacted and threatens to redacted. Security called. Kitchen knife found stabbed deeply into Dr. Blank's whiteboard. Dr. Blank's locked, secure document safe has been opened and rifled. Guard posted at door to his office. One and blank blank recorded arguing in raised voices in the staff break room. Day 59, janitor blank blank signs into work but fails to report to supervisor. Located by accident several hours later, trapped in the cold storage rooms attached to redacted autopsy theater, suffering from severe hypothermia. Guard on duty at Dr. Blank's office incapacitated by a blow to the head. A crude human figure formed from a mop head impaled on a broken mop handle driven through Dr. Blank's desk chair. One nowhere to be found. Let's see. At Dr. Blank's request and with approval from Data Expunge, SCP-254 removed from the wall. One leaves the building and vanishes. Day 61. One is caught on camera Sector Blank late at night. Power failure and multiple backup system failures cause blank containment breaches, resulting in blank direct casualties and blank further losses from sterilization of an outbreak of SCP Blank. See Incident Report 254-0210G. But that's not here, so I guess we won't see that one. Okay, so Employee of the Month is a terrible, terrible person, but I guess it's safe because they can since they can lock up the thing that causes it. It reminds me of that one episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog where if they played the record player, the ghost of the guy in the record would come out. Sounds kind of like that, except ever so slightly worse. Let's say Base 11 disorder. Okay. So this is going to be a serious voice one. And I've only just now realized that the reason my eye hurts is because I've been rubbing my eye with salt on my hand. Fun stuff. Tissue samples and specimens related to SCP-255 were contained at Biosite-16, a purpose-built containment and research facility designated or designed to priority beta contagious phenomenon specifications. Biosite-16 is subject to a remote location personnel rotation waiver in addition to standard contagious phenomenon preventive quarantine periods. Biosite-16 is located in the Vaitupu Atoll of Tuvalu, on an island owned by Ragnarok Ecological Modeling Inc., a Foundation front organization. Persons and animals determined to be infected with 255 are to be secured and transported to a designated temporary holding facility prior to transfer to Biosite-16. In cases where capture of an 255 carrier is exceedingly difficult or impossible, lethal force is authorized. The Office of Celestial Anomalies is to continually track the orbit of 3214 Hyperis, maintain a schedule of the upcoming near-Earth flybys, and alert the Research Director if any changes in observed orbit occur. The next scheduled flyby of 3214 Hyperis is November 11th, 2023, when it's predicted to pass within 950,000 kilometers of Earth. SCP-255 is an anomalous infectious phenomenon of extraterrestrial origin, manifesting in most living subjects as a neurological disorder with varying symptoms. Eligible carriers of 255 have thus far been observed to be organisms possessing a cerebral cortex with approximately 5.4 billion neurons. Experimentation has determined that species capable of contracting 255 include humans, chimpanzees, African elephants, bottlenose dolphins, false killer whales, and others. In non-human carriers of 255 causes, through unknown means, degeneration of motor neurons and nerve cells. The rate of degeneration and severity of related symptoms is inversely related to the number of neurons the subject possesses in its cerebral cortex, with less neurologically developed organisms displaying the most debilitating effects. The effects of 255 on humans, however, is markedly more complex. While degradation of brain cells in the nervous system has been noted on a limited basis in humans, a range of more unusual symptoms occurs in these subjects. See SCP-255 Research Log for more details. Individuals infected with 255 can be reliably diagnosed through EEG observation and confirmation of verified markers and measurements of neurological activity. See Appendix B for further documentation. Outbreaks of 255 coincide with close flybys of 3214 Hyperis, a relationship that was theorized using advanced statistical models following the second outbreak in 1965, and confirmed during the asteroid's 1987 close approach. Observations of 3214 Hyperis have determined it to be an approximately 110-meter C-type asteroid with no anomalous properties observed at this time. The nature of the orbit of 3214 Hyperis brings it into close approaches with Earth once every 11 years. Addendum 255-1 Research Log. The following is a listing of known SCP-255 outbreaks and relevant data. Estimated date of outbreak, May 23, 1968. Locations, Sagang, Myanmar. Number of confirmed human cases, 86. The first known outbreak of 255 occurred in 1968, now known to have coincided with 3214 hybrids passing within 350,000 kilometers of Earth. All known infected individuals resided within 7 kilometers of the township of Maulik. Foundation assets became aware of 255 while investigating an unknown illness affecting certain primates, including humans, and rural regions of northwestern Myanmar. The number of animals affected is unknown, but was estimated at the time to be between 1,000 to 5,000 individuals, primarily among forest-dwelling monkey species. All human instances and a representative sample of infected monkeys were brought under Foundation control, and special containment procedures enacted. In controlled laboratory conditions, animal subjects displayed advanced signs of motor neuron impairment with a 100% mortality rate over a period of 3 weeks. Human subjects displayed mild neurological impairment comparable to that experienced after a minor stroke. Experimentation confirmed that the disorder was not contagious. All human subjects recovered within 10 days and were released without incident after being informed that they were treated under a World Health Organization initiative. Estimated date of outbreak, June 19, 1979. Brazil, Rhode Island, Indonesia, Croker Island, Australia, 11 human cases. A second SCP-255 outbreak occurred in 1979 in 3 separate regions, undetected until 19 months later when a routine review of forthcoming medical literature documented several individuals complaining of a phantom limb sensation affecting the dominant hand, simulating the spastic movement and persistent ache of an extraneous 11th digit. Foundation personnel covertly interviewed subjects claiming to be affected by this phenomenon. Subsequent research determined that all individuals resided within 25 kilometers of the 11th parallel south and were experiencing an anomalous condition. Lack of person-to-person transmission capabilities were confirmed, and disinformation measures in the scientific community were carried out, achieving effective containment. The second outbreak was classified as a separate SCP designation until 1984, when research determined it to be the same phenomenon as SCP-255. May 30th, 1990, Chihuahua, Mexico. 121 confirmed human cases. The third documented outbreak of 255 occurred in Chihuahua, Mexico in 1990, coinciding with the passage of 3214 hybrids within 550,000 kilometers of Earth. Characteristic of 255, the outbreak is noted to have started in what was at the time the 11th most populous city and the 11th most populous country on Earth. Beginning in this instance and continuing through subsequent outbreaks, only human subjects have been infected by 255. Affected subjects in this outbreak displayed altered circadian rhythms, sleeping for periods between 3 to 4 hours at a time and awaking fully refreshed, conducting activities, and then tiring and sleeping within an average period of 7 hours, thus operating biologically in accordance with an 11-hour day. During interactions with researchers, test subjects displayed a tendency to change subjects in the middle of speaking to say hello in either English, Portuguese, or Indonesian, the language spoken by affected individuals in the second outbreak. Subjects would state hello in one of these languages regardless of any prior linguistic knowledge, and uniformly claim no recollection of doing so. Additionally, these subjects would address Foundation personnel as members of the World Health Organization without prompting. In all other manners, test subjects reserved in this iteration of 255 function in their altered biorhythm in a normal manner, before recovering and returning to a normal non-anomalous state within 2 to 3 weeks. The next one was November 11, 2001 in Quito, Ecuador. Over 1,000 confirmed human cases. Incident rate 13.9%. The fourth outbreak of 255 took place in an office building in the October 12th Avenue business district of Quito, Ecuador, or 12 de Octubre Avenue business district of Quito, Ecuador. At the time of the outbreak, Ecuador had a population of approximately 11 million people. Additionally, the building in which the initial outbreak was localized was 11 stories high. The fourth outbreak is the first observed instance of 255 being transmitted from person to person, with an incident rate in laboratory conditions of 13.9%. Infectious iterations of 255 has since been observed to be transmitted from person to person by sustained close proximity, generally within a 2-meter radius, despite the lack of observable pathogens. This change in pathogenicity, along with the higher initial number of cases, was responsible for the reclassification of 255 to Keter effective on December 23, 2001. Foundation operatives seized control of the building under the established World Health Organization cover. The size of the outbreak, however, mandated heightened secrecy protocols. Test subjects were transported to Biosite 16 for observation. Similar to the second outbreak, infected individuals reported experiencing a phantom limb-like sensation, However, in this event, the phenomenon was intensified greatly. Test subjects reported the sensation of having 7 additional limbs originating at seemingly random points of the body with no apparent relation to existing anatomy. While the precise nature of the additional appendages was difficult to ascertain, infected persons reported that they felt as though they had 3 joints, were approximately a meter in length, and had no structure analogous to a hand or a foot at the end. These limbs were apparently not subject to the painful contractions and sensations normally associated with amputees. However, subjects uniformly reported heightened distress at the sensation of 7 additional limbs moving independently of their control at most times. Additionally, test subjects lost conscious control of their left arms. At most times, subjects were unable to move their left arms. However, at 1100 hours local time each day, the left arms and hands of infected individuals would independently make motions analogous to what appeared to be the act of writing. When supplied with pen and paper, these individuals all wrote and crudely formed script the numbers 11-11-65, theorized at the time to be the date of the next outbreak and confirmed 11 years later. All infected individuals ceased to be affected by 255 within 3 to 4 weeks. Test subjects were administered broad-spectrum amnestics and released to Ecuadorian authorities. Foundation assets within the World Health Organization disseminated disinformation related to an exotic strain of malaria and subsequent treatment of efforts as part of a containment efforts. November 11, 2012, Brussels, Belgium. 11 people, 100% incident rate. The 5th and most recent outbreak of 255 took place in Brussels, Belgium, where 11 individuals working on the 11th floor of the NATO headquarters building all complained to medical staff of constantly hearing a set of 11 electronic tones repeating constantly. Containment protocols were activated by Western Europe sector personnel, and all infected subjects were transported to Biosite 16. Test subjects continued to complain of hearing the repetitive set of tones. Most subjects experienced heightened stress and irritability as well as sleep deprivation. Infected individuals were administered sedatives to ameliorate secondary 255 symptoms. Testing of this group of infected individuals revealed the incident rate of 255 was now 100%, ensuring that any humans exposed to the subjects would contract it. 11 days after the test subjects were secured at Biosite 16, infected individuals reported a cessation of the perceived repetitive tones. One test subject immediately reported hearing an electronic voice, similar to the generated by speech stimulation software, repeating the Spanish word Estrella, or it might be Australia. Once the subject reported the phenomena to researchers, it immediately ceased, whereupon another of the original 11 test subjects reported a similar phenomenon. The original cluster of infected individuals appeared to comprise a phrase in this manner, the constituent words of which were repeated in order for every new case of infection beyond this group. The phrase is transcribed below, translated from Spanish to English for this version of the document. Binary star lost, not lost, transpose dead instrument, urgent, await transmission. Upon relating to researchers this particular symptom, all test subjects ceased to display any signs of 255 infection. Subjects were amnesticized per 255 guidelines and released. Well, that's interesting. So every 11 years that happens, so the next one would be in about 2023? I feel like it already said that. I'm pretty sure it already, yeah, November 11, 2023. So, after that is the Trapped in a Typewriter? Okay. Euclid. It's kind of long. Kind of really long. But it's Euclid, so I can read it normal instead of in the serious Keter voice. 256 is contained within a cubic chamber 3 meters on a side, with 1 meter thick walls composed of a mixture. I don't know why I keep not being able to say words today. I either can't say words at all, or say them really fast. It's odd. With 2 conductive rods sticking out 18 centimeters from the walls to either side of the entrance. Entrance is restricted by a soundproof airlock. Chamber is to be constantly under surveillance by EMR device and video camera. Entry and surveillance are restricted to only authorized personnel who have undergone surgical adaptation to resist the effects of 256. To see a list of authorized personnel, see document 256B. I guess that's it right there. Personnel not on this list may enter if they are security clearance level 3 or above, but must wear sound-canceling earphones. All personnel must be stripped of all electronics, ferrous materials, and conductive material. They're also required to wear a specially designed insulated and redirective body suit, hazmat elec, which must be tested before wearing, before entrance, and after exit with a significant charge. A taser is supplied and is rated high enough for testing use. The only recording allowed, aside from the EMR device, is done by hand. SCP standard office paper is suitable, but writing instruments must be non-conductive. Crayons are kept on hand. Description: moved at Site 76 on this day, which might be March 2nd or might be February 3rd, 2007. SCP-256 is similar to a typewriter in most respects, except that the keys are fixed in position rather than connected to levers, and instead of a roll bar and most of the machinery that should be present, two concave copper discs stand at either end facing inward, 38 centimeters, 15 inches apart. While invisible to the naked eye, EM readings show that a significant electrical charge passes between the copper discs without any conductive medium. If any of the prohibited items are brought into the containment chamber, this current increases in both amplitude and voltage, eventually arcing out and striking the object in question. This is also the reason reinforced concrete was not used in the chamber's construction, as rebar seems to agitate the artifact. It is unknown where the extra energy comes from, or even the initial current, as there seems to be no power generation source within 256. If at any time this current oscillates more than the average peak of 26% on the EMR surveillance, all unauthorized personnel, regardless of clearance level, must immediately evacuate the chamber. Those who fail to comply are to be terminated at once, again, regardless of security clearance. For further information, see File 256-B. Open File 256-B, displaying authorization list. Agent 76, Scientist 76, classified, Base Command 07760103, deceased. Access File 256-B, sysadmin override 4498. Implementing System Administrator Override will trigger Containment Protocol 289. Security will be alerted to your override and be dispatched to detain you. Termination will commence in 24 hours unless authorized or repealed by active Base Command. Proceed. Confirm code. System override acknowledged. Has not been authorized. 24-hour countdown engaged. Open 256, displaying authorization list. Civilian. Base Command 760103, deceased. Mary Ann Waters, vitals under MAW 1, suspected mother of item 256. You have not accessed this terminal in 3 minutes. Do you require assistance? No. Acknowledged. Access records Robert Waters. Suspected father of item number 256. Access record of James Turtle. Discovered item 256. Claims to be romantically involved with item. Activate security alarm 258 overrides to admin 764498. Activated. Access 256. C. Denied. File rated for base commander higher. Access overrides says admin from HR 76 blah blah blah. To base command 761389. Let me officially give you the congratulations on your promotion, General Trent. It's a sad thing that happened to your predecessor, but such is the way of things when working for the Foundation. Regardless, I looked into the various classified files that General Gerhardt had under lock and key with your access code and found some really surprising things about 256. First off, the list of authorized personnel are not surgically adapted in any way. In fact, many of them have never undergone anything more serious than the mandated physical. And civilians. I can't even begin to understand why General Gerhardt let them even know of the base. Containment agents have been dispatched to see how far their psychosis has progressed and how much they know. But from what I found in the late General's personal files, he supposedly had them convinced that this was some kind of hospital. Second, as you may have guessed from the notes on the civilians and the highly classified paper manuscripts, the authorized personnel seem to believe quite vehemently that 256 was once a young adult human named Elizabeth Waters, and has somehow been trapped in the artifact. Even the General was convinced, and the very fact that Base Command was compromised by the item's delusions makes me worry about the entire facility. All personnel on the authorized list have been placed under covert surveillance. It is unknown how far the item's control over them goes, and I will be personally reviewing all other SCP security measures enacted on General Gerhardt's behalf. Third, there is information on the artifact that has not been made available in the report. Firstly, the variance on the EMR is remarkably similar to an oscilloscope's pickup of human voice. Apparently, when 256 starts its variance, it somehow starts producing audio with it. Second, the compromised personnel write down in the manuscripts that the delusions claim to be in pain when metal is brought near it. After an audio recorder was brought into the room, the afflicted agents noted that the delusions ceased for several days, and when they resumed, they indicated that it nearly killed the artifact. Needless to say, I cannot confirm or deny these rumors due to the security restraints on 256, but I do not place credibility in them. Simply put, General, this was a cover-up. Recommend immediate disciplinary procedures for all personnel involved. In regards to SCP-256, I recommend research into power production. As long as the research personnel observe the listed sound blanking procedures, any possible auditory contamination can be contained. There was no listed drop in power when the little girl almost died, and more conductive material may serve to permanently suppress the risk of the artifact. However, as per your new policy with advanced timetable on the destruction of destructible SCP items, I have scheduled the item for a tentative destruction on the 15th of January 2008. Your Vigilant Officer, Edward Bergstrom. You have not accessed this terminal in 3 minutes. Do you require assistance? No. Does the Black Moon howl? No. The Quick Brown jumps over the lazy dog. Password confirmed. Date: Monday, January 14th, 2008. Query countdown. Countdown to termination for sysadmin 764498 blah 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 blah. Activate security alarm 136C. Override sysadmin. Security alarm activated. General network alert. Warning, sysadmin 764498 may be fabricating alarms to distract security. All personnel report sightings immediately. You have not accessed this terminal in 3 minutes. Not accessed in 10. An hour. 2 hours. Warning. System admin 764498 is to be terminated on site. System admin is armed and dangerous. You have not accessed this terminal in 3 hours. Warning, Site 76 lockdown initiated. All SCP rooms sealing. Level 1 and 2 personnel to proceed directly to designated containment breach defense points and arm themselves. Follow direction of Level 3 personnel. Explosion detected in Human Resources Office. Security has been dispatched. 4 hours. Containment Protocol 289 has been temporarily suspended by Base Command 10001. 5 hours. Base Command 761389 has been relieved of duty by Base Command 10001. Access codes are suspended. Site 76 lockdown disengaged. Check arms back at designated containment breach defense point. Return to standard duties. No longer pending termination. 6 hours. Containment Protocol 289 has been rescinded. Authorization approved. You have not accessed the terminal in 7 hours. Do you require assistance? Log off. Does the Black Moon howl? Log off. Override Base Command 1001. Good night, Director Blank. Well, that was really, really weird, and I don't really understand anything about what this SCP is supposed to be. It sounds like some people think that it might have their daughter trapped inside of it, and this other person didn't believe it and then proceeded to cause a containment breach. I have no idea what was going on here at all. But I'm going to end this episode early due to the fact that my eyes are not really up to it and I keep yawning. So, this was Trapped in the Typewriter. In the next episode, we'll start with Professor William Woodsworth's collection of curiosities and go from there. So, this has been Anashi Sasuke. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe would be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.